Winter at -30 degrees Fahrenheit is not just cold. It is a force of nature that can silence forests, freeze rivers solid, and make survival a daily battle. In such conditions, modern homes without electricity quickly lose their warmth. Within hours, the temperature inside drops dangerously, leaving families vulnerable to the relentless frost. Yet centuries ago, medieval cabins stood firm against this same brutal cold. They were not fragile structures dependent on modern technology, but resilient shelters designed with wisdom passed down through generations. These cabins could hold warmth for days, even when the fire had long gone out, and they offered safety and comfort in climates where survival seemed impossible. The question is simple but profound. How did our ancestors achieve this? What secrets of wood, stone, and fire allowed them to thrive in conditions that would overwhelm many modern homes today? The answer lies in the forgotten science of medieval construction, where every beam, every wall, and every hearth was crafted not for convenience, but for endurance. This is the story of medieval resilience, and the ingenious methods that kept cabins warm when the world outside was frozen solid. Modern houses are built for convenience, not survival. Their walls are often thin, filled with synthetic insulation that depends on a constant supply of electricity or gas to keep the interior warm. When the power fails, the forced air systems stop, and the heat inside begins to vanish almost immediately. Within hours, the temperature drops to dangerous levels, leaving families exposed to the same cold that medieval people endured centuries ago. The very design of modern homes assumes abundance. Endless energy, endless comfort, but it is fragile when faced with true winter. Medieval cabins, on the other hand, were built with a different philosophy. They were not designed to be temporary shelters, but to stand against the harshest climates. Every log, every stone, and every joint was chosen to trap heat and resist the cold. Where modern homes rely on technology, medieval cabins relied on nature itself. The density of wood, the thickness of walls, and the radiant power of fire. This contrast reveals a truth we often forget. Survival in extreme cold is not about convenience, but about resilience. The strength of medieval cabins lay in their mastery of natural materials and simple but ingenious design. At the heart of their survival was the concept of thermal mass. Unlike modern heating systems that rely on constant airflow, medieval stoves and ovens were built from stone or clay. These materials absorbed the heat of a fire and then released it slowly over many hours, keeping the cabin warm long after the flames had died down. A single fire could provide comfort through the night, and sometimes even into the next day. Equally important was the airtight construction of log cabins. Thick logs, carefully fitted together, created walls that trapped heat inside and blocked the icy winds outside. The density of the wood acted like a natural battery, storing warmth and preventing it from escaping. Where modern homes often leak heat through thin walls and poorly sealed joints, medieval cabins were built to endure, with every seam designed to resist the cold. Finally, warmth was distributed through radiant heat rather than forced air. The glow of a stone oven or clay hearth spread evenly across the room, warming not just the air, but the very surfaces of the cabin itself. This created a steady, lasting comfort that modern systems struggle to replicate. Together, these methods formed a survival strategy that allowed medieval families to thrive in conditions that would overwhelm many modern homes today. If we imagine placing a modern house and a medieval cabin side by side in the same frozen landscape, the difference becomes striking. In the modern home, once the heating system fails, the temperature inside begins to plummet. Within a single night, the rooms grow unbearably cold, and by the next day, the interior is nearly as frigid as the air outside. The thin walls and reliance on artificial systems make the structure fragile, unable to withstand the relentless cold without constant energy. The medieval cabin tells a different story. After a fire burns in its stone hearth or clay oven, the heat lingers long after the flames have died. The thick log walls hold the warmth like a reservoir, releasing it slowly into the living space. Even after 2 or 3 days without a new fire, the cabin remains livable, its interior shielded from the deadly frost outside. This endurance was not accidental, but the result of generations of knowledge, where survival depended on building homes that could stand against nature's harshest tests. The comparison reveals a simple truth. Medieval cabins were not just shelters, they were lifelines designed to keep families alive when the world outside was frozen solid. Inside the medieval cabin, warmth was more than a matter of comfort. It was survival itself. Families gathered close to the hearth, with a steady glow of firelight provided both heat and a sense of security. Meals were cooked in heavy clay ovens that not only prepared food, but also radiated warmth throughout the room. The cabin became a living organism, its walls absorbing and releasing heat, its hearth breathing life into the coldest nights. Every aspect of daily life revolved around conserving and sharing this precious warmth. Clothing added another layer of protection. Wool garments, layered carefully, trapped body heat and kept the chill at bay. Beds were piled with furs and heavy blankets, creating pockets of warmth where families could rest together. Even small details, like sleeping near the stove or using wooden shutters to block drafts, made the difference between endurance and suffering. In these cabins, survival was not left to chance. It was woven into the rhythm of everyday life. The combination of architecture, fire, and clothing created a system of resilience that allowed medieval people to thrive in conditions that would overwhelm many modern households. The wisdom of medieval cabins is not locked in the past. Their principles can still guide us today, especially as more people seek off-grid living or resilience in uncertain times. The idea of thermal mass heating, where stone or clay absorbs and slowly releases warmth, is now being revived in modern masonry stoves and passive house designs. The airtight construction of log cabins reminds us that natural materials, when used with care, can outperform synthetic insulation. And radiant heat, the gentle warmth that spreads from a hearth or oven, offers comfort that forced air systems can never truly replicate. These lessons are more than historical curiosities. They are blueprints for survival. In a world where energy costs rise and power grids falter, the medieval approach shows us how to build homes that endure. By blending ancient techniques with modern knowledge, we can create spaces that are not only efficient but deeply human. Homes that breathe with fire, wood, and stone, just as they did centuries ago. The resilience of medieval cabins is a reminder that survival is not about abundance, but about wisdom, and that the past still holds answers for the challenges of the present. The story of medieval cabins is more than a glimpse into the past. It is a reminder of human ingenuity and resilience. In a world where survival depended on skill and wisdom, our ancestors built homes that could endure the fiercest winters without the crutch of modern technology. Their cabins were not just shelters, but lifelines, crafted from wood, stone, and fire, and sustained by knowledge passed down through generations. Today, as we face new challenges of energy, climate, and sustainability, the lessons of these cabins remain as relevant as ever. They show us that true warmth comes not from abundance, but from design, discipline, and harmony with nature. The glow of a medieval hearth is more than history. It is a symbol of survival, a testament to the strength of those who came before us. This is the wisdom of ash and anvil, to forge the future with the fire of the past, and to keep alive the knowledge that once kept humanity warm when the world outside was frozen solid.